Hey there, welcome in or welcome back. My name is Avril, and in this corner of the internet, we chat about writing, life, and whatever else comes to mind. Today, I'm doing another AuthorTube tag. This one is based more around your routines and your various habits as a writer. I'm getting to this video a little bit later than I wanted to. This video is actually inspired by Tay Buggy's video a couple weeks back, although the rituals tag goes even further back to Mandi, Lynn, and Kim Champs, I want to say around 2019. So it's been a while. It's definitely an oldie but a goodie kind of tag, and I am excited to jump in and make my contribution. And hopefully, unlike when I did my AuthorTube newbie tag at the beginning of the channel, I'm going to be looking a little more at the camera over here than at the questions on my screen over here. Because when I was watching that video back, I realized I was just looking over here the entire time. But we live and we learn, and hopefully I've evolved in the about 5 or 6 weeks since then. Number 1, when do you write? The time of day, day of the week, and so on. I would love to have a more concrete writing schedule, but right now I'm balancing my writing with my day job. So a lot of my writing has to happen around my work hours, both figuratively and literally. So I do a lot of my writing on the go, either at work, like during my lunch break, or if we have a really slow period where I'm able to kind of sneak out my notebook and scribble down a couple notes here and there, provided everything else is done first. I'm usually able to get a little bit of writing done before my shift and very occasionally after my shift, depending on when I get home. Right now, I usually have the closing shift, and after those shifts, I tend to be a little more tired, and I know my brain isn't in the right headspace for working on my book. Depending on the day, I might be able to get a little writing done beforehand. I usually save that time for working on my blog or anything I can do in like a shorter period of time. I feel like when I'm working on my book, I want a longer stretch of time, especially if I'm drafting and working on new things, where I have that ability to sink in and just focus for a longer stretch. That tends to be either a Tuesday or Wednesday thing right now, as those are the days I usually have off. Although with Tuesday and Wednesday being my day off, that's also when I tend to schedule appointments if I have any coming up. Like yesterday was a Tuesday, and I was actually in New Haven for a couple of medical things that I'm involved with. So it's really just a matter of whenever I can sit down to write is when I write. How do you seclude yourself from the outside world? I don't know if I want to call it secluding myself, but I am trying to get better about setting boundaries for my writing time and being more disciplined with it. I think right now my main focus, ironically, is trying to be more focused when I am writing. I'm very prone to getting distracted and shifting tabs and falling down all these rabbit holes where I look up and all of a sudden it's been 3 hours and I haven't done anything. And speaking of distractions, I think we might have a visitor. All right, I guess we're taking a little kitten break real quick. So this handsome boy is Willoughby, or Willow for short. He's not that much of a lap cat, so I don't know how much he'll stay. There he goes. All right, well, thank you for visiting. He's just lounging on the floor right now, so you might be able to hear him. But anyway, I think the only secluding I do with my writing would be if I'm writing in a public area. By that I mean finding an out-of-the-way table where I don't feel like I'm intruding on anyone, and in turn that I won't be distracted, but at the same time still making sure that I am still visible. How do you review what you wrote the previous day? Weirdly enough, I don't. I've always had this ability to just kind of jump back in and pick it up wherever I left off. There are definitely times where I do go back to double check a thing, but for the most part, I just kind of dive in and continue on from there, if that makes sense. Number 4, what song is your go-to when you're feeling uninspired? Okay, I know this is not the answer you might expect from the girl who has a playlist for every single project, including the ones that are only a vague idea. I don't really have a go-to song for when I'm feeling uninspired. I do have playlists upon playlists that I will circle back to, and I actually have one that I made specifically for the lobby where I work that I'll have on and have subjected my coworkers to a number of times. But I don't have a particular song. But for a couple of picks from that playlist, it would include Thunder by Boys Like Girls Amnesia by 5 Seconds of Summer, The Story of Another Us by 5 Seconds of Summer, August by Taylor Swift, and I Found Her by Fame. What do you always do when you find yourself struggling with writer's block? I like to have multiple projects in different areas of writing just for that reason. So if I'm having a hard time focusing on my fiction project or trying to figure out why it isn't working for me that day, I might hop over to a blog post. And if the blog isn't working, I might hop back to fiction or, make some plans for the channel here. And actually these days I've been really struggling with the Titled Love and trying to redirect a bunch of things. So I kind of have another fiction project that I'm working on. I haven't really made any big announcements about that yet. That is a video I'm going to be recording hopefully next week to do an official reveal of the project that I'm working on, but I find that that's been really helpful for kind of unblocking myself with the Titled Love, because as I've been working on this project, it's kind of been helping me figure out what I need to do to redirect a Titled Love and get it back on track. So that's been really exciting. I also listen to a lot of audiobooks while I'm gaming, so either while I'm playing Stardew Valley or while I'm roaming around in Red Dead Redemption 2 and just kind of free roaming in the wilderness. I might have an audiobook on or a podcast on and just kind of zone out and take a break from all my writing. That in particular creates a little separation for me, which I find helpful. I'm still able to absorb all these craft things and analyze other writing without it being directly tethered to mine. It's kind of that being writing related and adjacent, but not exactly related to my own project. And that way, when I do come back to my own writing, I may have picked up on a craft thing that I really liked or caught something in another book that helped me realize what wasn't working in my own project and how to kind of navigate that. What tools do you use when you're writing? As a writer in the modern age, I do rely pretty heavily on my computer, but whenever possible, I do prefer a handwritten draft in a plain old composition notebook. These days, my favorite pens are either the U brand Catalina, which is a really narrow felt tip pen, or these right here, the Jelly Roll gel pens. This is actually the pack that I got from my Secret Santa at work last year. I do not shut up about these pens. I love these pens so much, and I cannot say enough about them. And then my other main writing tool is the AlphaSmart Neo 2, which is kind of a nice middle ground between the high-tech and efficiency of computer and the analog nature of a handwritten draft where you don't have all those distractions and bells and whistles. What is the one thing you can't live without during a writing session? I think when I'm out and about writing, it's going to be my earbuds, because I like the option of having music on, but even if I don't have music on and I just have them in, it's a great way to kind of drown out any external noise so I can just focus on what I need to get done that day. And when I'm home, it is definitely going to be a candle. I love story candles. They are one of my favorite ways to dive into a new project. I actually have a whole video where I go into a little bit about mine, and I just love having that candlelit atmosphere when I'm writing, and the fragrance of it really, really helps me get into the zone. How do you fuel yourself during a writing session? Coffee. Long and short answer is coffee. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be an iced coffee. My setup at home right now isn't really anything extravagant, just standard sugar, creamer. Maybe if I have like a caramel syrup in the fridge, I'll add a little bit of that. And then when I'm out and about, it really just depends on my mood. Right now we're in the middle of lavender cold foam season, and that usually does dictate my order. I will go for anything that is lavender flavored. I love lavender coffee so much. But then apart from that, I've also become a fan of a dirty chai, so usually get a chai latte with a shot or two of espresso in there just to spice it up a little bit. And then number 9, how do you know when you're done writing? I don't. But in terms of a writing session, it really just depends on the time frame I'm working with. So either it's really late at night and I'm starting to feel my body shutting down for the evening and getting ready for bed, at which point I'll call it there for the night. Or if it's right before work, that's my time frame right there. It's not a matter of when I feel I'm done. It's when my time frame is up and I need to get going. Those rare times where I don't have anything going on and I can just write to my heart's content. I think for me, it's just a matter of I've hit that point where I've done all I can for the day. And whether that's I'm not sure where to take the story next, or it's time for me to move on to the next thing, whether that is making dinner, feeding the boy, or anything like that. And then in the grand scheme of things, I feel that I'm done writing when I've hit the point that I've done everything I can with it, that I've done everything I'm able to do with the skills I have, and it's time to move on. It's one of those things that I can't quite define. It's just intrinsic, like, you know. All right, and that is a wrap on this writing rituals tag. I think this was a really interesting one for me because I don't have an exact routine, and I'm really just going off the vibes and small bits of time whenever I'm able to make them. So I think for me, it's just been interesting to find all these little bits of a routine, even though I don't have a set routine and my writing is really sporadic. And if there is another writing tag you'd like to see me do, or a writing question you'd like to see covered here on the channel, feel free to leave it down below. And if you want to do this tag for yourself, I will have all the questions in the description box below. Feel free to either answer them in the comments on this video, or if you end up making your own video, feel free to tag me. I'd love to check it out. Be sure to subscribe for more writing life and whatever else comes to mind. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.